Sticking with the theme of the establishment rigging the process, we've got even more details from you that don't just have to do with the DNC. Let's put this up there on the screen. Here we have Ron Klain, the former chief of staff to the president and then the person who also helped him prepare for the debate. He says it is 100% certain that Biden is staying in the race. Big money donors, he say, don't get to dictate the nominee of the Democratic Party. Well, it's not like the voters really got to dictate the nominee of that party either, because there was no primary. They didn't even get to vote. There was no debate. There was nothing. They were hidden by people like you behind the curtain before we could no longer deny reality in front of all of our eyes. Let's go to the next one, please, because this is actually the craziest one. This is, quote, behind the curtain inside the Biden Salvation Plan. Let's leave this up there just so I can read from it. A massive political PR personal campaign is underway to reject calls for President Biden to drop his re-election race and rally Democrats to move on from the public debate and about his age and his future. Biden has zero interest in stepping aside. First Lady Joe Biden, key family members agree. The intrigue, Biden is ducking tough interviews and avoided no press conferences, is now considering both. He is looking for a town hall or a big one-on-one this month. During a family gathering at Camp David, Biden family members, including Hunter, went through with the long-scheduled session with celebrity photographer Annie Leibovitz. The Bidens insisted the president would stay in the race. They are all in and want him to stay. Behind the scenes, Biden friends are now blaming longtime aides who prepped Biden. They complained about everything from the data-heavy answers to his makeup to briefing on the camera angles. The president smoothed it over. He called former chief of staff Ron Klain, who I just referenced, to lead the team. And one of the things they talked about was that while he doesn't blame him for prep, that they will continue forward. The campaign spokesperson said that the aides who prepared President Biden have been with him for years. Ron Klain is expected to lead Biden's prep for now the second debate. And to be fair, Klain has led debate prep for every president since Bill Clinton, so it kind of makes sense. Really, though, is inside this survival strategy. Number one is they want to, quote, dismiss bedwetting. They want to continue to go after anybody who is breaking ranks and say that they're bedwetters, that they're cowards, that they're not sticking by the president. They're trying to turn this into their Access Hollywood moment. Number two, quote, they want to squeeze polls for juice. Biden allies are circulating polls and focus groups showing that the debate did little to change the dynamics of the race. Not actually true, though, considering the poll that we just showed you in our last segment. Number three, and this is the most important, they want to warn of chaos. So remember that Jen Psaki clip I played for everybody earlier. Biden allies are making plain in private conversation the perils of an open convention, the risks of picking a Democrat even more unpopular than Biden, namely Vice President Kamala Harris. So what they're doing is they're stabbing their own vice president in the back. They're like, see, she's even more unpopular. We can't run with her. They want to, quote, limit dissent. They're orchestrating supportive tweets by Clinton, by Obama, the ones I showed you yesterday. Those are happening after, quote, furious back-channeling by allies. They're keeping all elected leaders close. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, they're like, listen, guys, you're sticking with me and you're not going anywhere. Getting the donor class to chill out. They're getting specifically Jeffrey Katzenberg of DreamWorks fame to work the phones and to go after anybody who is saying that it is Biden should drop out. Quote, they want to prove vitality. That'll be an interesting one. Basically, they want to do the bait and switch that they did yesterday, which is they're like, look how good he is on these pre-scripted rallies surrounded by supporters. Why can't he have been like that at the debate? And it's like, well, because the debate was at night and he literally has sundowning, and also he's reading off of a teleprompter, and obviously that's a lot easier. Number 8 is ignore and engage the media. Biden allies want everyone to ignore prominent columnists who love Biden and are now calling for his resignation. And on the other hand, the White House is, quote, deeply engaged with reporters, writing about presidential fitness, pushing as much back as possible that they can. Now what they say is that the Biden kitchen cabinet sees a recipe for a narrow victory that includes a grand slam speech at the Democratic convention in Chicago. That'll be interesting. I'll be in the room along with the rest of our staff. Can't wait to watch that one. And quote, a strong showing in the next second debate plus positive economic news in the fall. So basically, they believe that this full court press survival strategy, rigging the process, going after the elected leaders, arranging the former presidents, all behind him will keep him limping along, and that maybe, just maybe, they can drag their way out of it. Let's go to the next part, please, because this also is a little bit of a problem, I think, for the Biden people. I mean, guys, she literally, Jill Biden, is sitting for the cover of Vogue the very day after this disastrous performance. She says, quote, we will decide our future. And I mean, more importantly, when you read this article, it is very clear that the trappings of power are very attractive, I would say, to our current First Lady. And in fact, as we showed you yesterday with that clip where she said, Joe, you knew all of the facts, as if that was, or sorry, Joe, you answered every question, you knew all of the facts, as if that is supposed to be the baseline from which we're congratulating, again, the most disastrous debate performance by any American president ever. Anyway, I think it's important. You guys know now, we've got the DNC plan. We've got now inside details of what that plan looks like. So what I would look for, this is my prediction, they need to find a media sit-down interview with a friendly enough person, preferably a Jen Psaki, right? Maybe Simone Sanders. If we want to get a little crazy, they would go with Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes, somebody like that. Somebody who is a regime like apparatchik, but not somebody who's going to go out on a limb. And they want them to ask a few challenging questions, and we'll go with that. And there'll be a long sit-down interview. They're going to blast it all over cable, and they're going to see, look at his performance. At the same time, I think we're going to see a lot more of what we saw last night. Biden trying to prove that he can speak at night, but doing a 4-minute press conference, right? 4 minutes, taking no questions, but reading scripted. More North Carolina type rallies, and then they're gonna prop up the DNC speech, which again is off of a teleprompter, not impromptu whatsoever. They're probably gonna make it lengthy, like State of the Union level, where he reads off of the script, and they're gonna see, look, he can speak for over an hour, he remains cogent, but at the end of the day, it's all gonna be scripted. And at the same time, using behind-the-scenes strategies to knife any potential political opponent, any person who speaks out of line. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show, ad-free, and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.